Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Day for yesterday, at the close of the dialogue, it was not very clear to us when the dialogue had been reported about self-surrender. Even now, whatever thoughts we share, it may not be very clear unless we go with him. But again, we thought some more effort, because this is a very vital point. For a sadhaka, this is a very vital point. The Papa, right from beginning, has been hammering this. Nam, Seva, Dhyan, Samarpan. Samarpan is something, we keep on, the refrain comes again and again. Very difficult for all of us to actualize it. But still we can try. We keep on trying. I will read out the last portion, page number 41-42. What is self-surrender? Answer. Complete and unqualified submission to the will is called self-surrender. How to attain this? Realize once for all that the divine will alone is the reality, the sole truth, and that will alone prompts, actualizes, guides, leads, works in all beings, in all creatures, in all things in this world. That your thoughts, words, deeds are the thoughts, words and deeds of the divine power that resides in and permeates your whole being. Know that you are entirely under the control of that beneficent, ever-active, all-loving, all-power, eternal power, all-powerful, eternal power. But doubts arise. How to prevent them? Doubts signify that the surrender is not complete. You have to give them up. Rise above the body consciousness and your doubts will vanish. Remain in this state always, in waking, dream and deep sleep. How to rise above the body consciousness? By making your mind always dwell on Sri Ram, who is eternal, who is without form, who is one sole truth. Now the important thing comes. What about the movements and actions of the body? the movements and actions of the body then take place spontaneously without the mind taking any notice of them, without its planning for or calculating on them. Then actions leave no impression on the mind. Impressions on the fettered mind give rise to doubts. Let the mind find its freedom. Let the mind find its freedom, purity, peace and bliss in Sri Ram. Then how can the divine will be working? When you always dwell in the one concentrated, intoxicated state in Sri Ram, all your actions resolve into a perfected harmony. Then it is that the divine will of Sri Ram works in you. You do not now offer any resistance to the free play of his will. You are in perfect tune with him. He is ever pure, he is ever free. So your actions, your words, your thoughts become pure and harmonious. Now your self-surrender is complete. First he said everything is his. Thoughts, words and deeds. Now it is said that it does not affect him. So now the movement, at the moment, how the movement takes place. For example, the reading or hearing or seeing. When the hearing takes place, kindly observe what is happening. When the seeing takes place, how does it happen? In order to throw some light, in Srimad Bhagavad Gita, in chapter number 5, 14, shloka number 14, the Lord gives, Na kartrutvam na karmani, lokasya srijati prabhu, na karmavala samyogam svabhavastu pravartate. Neither agency nor actions, doership or action, does the Lord create for the world, nor does he bring about the union with the fruit of action. It is nature that does this all. The very vital point, utmost concentration is necessary. We might get some clue of the functioning that is going on. Whatever we have read now from at the feet of God, it might give some clarity. How does he motivate, guide, move, behave? And at the same time, how does he remain unaffected? Clearly he says, I have nothing to do with this. Na kartrutvam, na karmani. The divine personality, the supreme divine being, did not prescribe any agency in action, nor actions. Neither of these was prescribed by the divine Lord of humanity. Then how does this action go on? Svabhavastu pravartate. Nature does it all. As in the case of the animal, it is nature that is impelling us. Nature that is outside has found a place within us also. Man is an outpost of external nature in many respects. Our digestive systems, our reactions are all the work of that nature. So, svabhavastu pravartate. Svabhava or nature is acting in you and in me as well as in the outer world. Here, svabhava means nature. That plain nature outside induces us to eat, drink, to rare families. All that is Swabhava acting through the human being. God did not tell me to do this or that. This is the language. That Swabhava or nature has entered into us and become part of our constitution. Impelled by it, we do all these things. That is the truth about the human being. There is a distinction between our actions impelled by nature and our actions impelled by our own higher nature. Vedanta alone speaks of a higher dimension of nature, Paraprakriti, apart from Aparaprakriti, ordinary nature. The first is intelligence and the second one is non-intelligence. What is automatically going on? That is what is called here non-intelligence. Watch within us. Then only it becomes clear. Seeing. You are not ordering to see, no? Hearing. Breathing. Here Sri Krishna, Vedanta speaks of the dominance of the intelligent principle Paraprakriti over Aparaprakriti or Swabhava as the instrument of human freedom, as the goal of human evolution. Here Sri Krishna clearly puts it, Swabhavastu pravartate. Swabhava or ordinary nature is acting in all of us. It is like this. Somebody abuses me, I immediately give him a slap. What has happened? Swabhava has taken charge and acted in me. I have another Swabhava, intelligence or Paraprakriti, by which I can check it. That Swabhava is silent, not functioning yet. Everything is Swabhava or Aparaprakriti. Raw nature is functioning in you and me. The other is my higher nature, my own true nature as the Atman, helping me to check all these and making me behave in a better way. This higher nature rarely finds expression. In most people, only the lower nature is there, Aparaprakriti. Can we say that it is something like this laptop? By itself it will not, no? But when it starts working, it works. Provided the electricity is there. So what is the connection between electricity and what we see now? Just imagine. There is a gadget, there is electricity. Electricity has no name and form. Electricity by itself is not to be limited for this particular operation. But in the presence of electricity, all these varied experiences are available. The one which you see now, the one which you hear now, so many things. We have to apply our mind. Through the mind only we can find out the Para and Aparaprakriti. This is what at the feet of God, in the final divine mother, kindles and intuitively narrates. If this is not clear, then nothing will be clear. So when we say he does everything, what is it that he does everything? He doesn't do anything. Just like the electricity or the sun, doesn't do anything by itself. But in its presence, everything gets activated. Huh? Think. How does it? We have to see for ourselves, how do I now react? Let not another object come and be compared here. Because we may still think it is outside. Raw nature is functioning in you and me. The other is my higher nature, my own true nature, as the Atman, helping me to check all these and making me behave in a better way. This higher nature rarely finds expression. In most people, only the lower nature is there. The external nature manifesting in our physiology, anatomy, neurology, and even psychology. Much of our psyche is controlled by this external nature. So this is a fact to be understood. A human being is a combination of two natures, the external nature and the higher nature, that is intelligence. The higher nature functions as a subordinate of the external nature in most people. It cannot express itself because the other nature, Apara Prakriti, is very dominant in most people, in all of us. That is why we are not aware of, in spite of hammering all these things, we are not aware of His presence. That is ordinary human life, out of which comes crime, delinquency, etc. But whenever the nature is slowly controlled and the higher nature finds manifestation, then slowly spiritual culture comes. We evolve into better and still better human beings. Real civilization itself is the product of a little dominance of the higher nature over the lower nature. This is the meaning of Sri Krishna telling us here, na kartrutvam na karmani lokasya srijati prabhu. Prabhu, the divine master of the world, did not prescribe either agency of action or action to any individual here. Then he says, na karma balatam yogam, nor the bringing out of the union with the fruit of action. Then how does life go? Svabhavastu pravartate. Having said this, the lesson we have to learn is that Svabhava, which is external nature, Apara Prakriti, which has found lodgment in our system, we shall control it, we shall go beyond it by expressing our true nature as pure intelligence, because we are a combination of both. What we call in Vedantic language, Chit Jada Granthi. Every human being is a knot of Chit and Jada. Chit means consciousness, Jada means inert nature. The gadget and electricity. The presence of electricity is known through the gadget. The gadget becomes alive only when it is in the presence of electricity. Start thinking. So electricity is not worried whether you use it for refrigerator or for heating in induction heater, or it's a fan or a light or a laptop. It's just presence. But varied expressions are there from the Jada. My varied expression, thought, words and deeds. it becomes expressive because of the presence of that power. And that power is untainted, no? Nishkalamaham. Morning when we pray, Nishkalam, untainted. Nishkalamaham najabhuta sangaha. Pratasmarami hridiham spura atma tattvam sat chit sukham paramahamsa gatim turiyam yat swapna jagara sushuptim avidi nityam tadbrahmam nishkalam aham najabhuta sangaha. Untainted. So many expressions are coming because of electricity. Expression is related to the equipment. Chit, Jada, Granthi. Chit is intelligence. Intelligence is not the intelligence that we know of intelligence. Intelligence absolute. That is Atman. It's called consciousness. Now, when we close our eyes and chant Rana, this can be easily verified. You are presenting to everyone. Stop presenting. We are slowing down because this has to percolate into our system. It is purely subjective. The first part of the, in 41, page number 41, she says, the divine will alone is the reality, the sole truth. That will alone prompts, actuates, guides, leads, works in all beings, in all creatures, in all things in this world. No? The presence of electricity. Only with that all these things are possible. If the electricity is not there, finished. But in the presence of electricity, when we switch on, does the electricity do anything? So she says, the movement and actions of the body then take place spontaneously without the mind taking any notice of them, without its planning for or calculating. Then actions leave no impression on the mind. Impressions on the fettered mind give rise to doubts. So we watch ourselves. 2-3 days back we said, the nearness. First he said, unless you link yourself with the divine author of your being, your life is in vain. For that he suggested 4 methods. First you start feeling the nearness, then slowly a glimpse is present. And if I get steadied in my presence, I know that everybody is an expression of that vision in everybody. And finally we have been told we will become one with that. So there should not be any confusion. When we say, divine will works everywhere. It is the very, under this presence, Rajaham. Is it becoming clearer? It is not the one which does. It is in its presence that everything gets done. So when we close our eyes and chant, chanting is going on. And it is being witnessed. Whether it is chanting, whether it is bhajan, whether it is a good word or a bad word, whether it is praising, whether it is abusing, if we close our eyes, we can see it is being witnessed. So it is not involved directly in the acting. na kartritvam na karmani. This is the highest state which we are all trying to aspire. For some clarity, no? The self-surrender is the toughest word to understand. Because it is the sense of individuality trying to understand a state where it does not, what do you call it, dominate. Is it becoming clearer? Huh? Should we repeat it again? Can you hear?
Yes, Swamiji.
Huh?
Yes, Swamiji.
Oh.
Yes, Swamiji.
Raw nature is functioning in you and me. The other is my higher nature. Raw nature and the higher nature. Raw nature spontaneously, impulsively reacts. When we go near unknowingly to the fire, automatically we withdraw. When we touch a piece of ice, automatically the hand goes. Now we are watching. How does it work? Svabhava. But this Svabhava is possible only because of the presence of life force in us. Though life force is not directly involved in this. So he is there. Only by his presence, all these things are happening. He does not get directly involved. The movements and actions of the body then take place spontaneously without the mind taking any notice of them. That's why you might have heard, many people saying he has got a blank look, He is unconcerned. You remember the Ajmer. There are two Sufi saints. They met. One was of that category. Mirzaji, very good. Mirzaji. Unconcerned. Apparently they may be indifferent. Not that everybody has to become indifferent. One of the similes we can easily understand. That it doesn't get registered. Not out of disrespect, not out of want of love, no. We can now stretch it in our daily life. There are many people, We mistake them. They are indifferent. They are insulting me. They are not recognizing me. Svabhavastu pravartate. So each one has got a Svabhava, inherent Svabhava, lower. There are the lower and higher. I think we all remember during our reading of Papa's. There, according to him, it is only the impulse, Svabhava. No, that is lower. Because where you automatically the intelligence works. It is automatic, There is no thought activity there. Absolutely. Oh yes.
Swamiji, is it voluntary and involuntary?
Yeah, correct. Voluntary, involuntary, correct. Involuntary. That would be a better word, correct. We have to do some lot of thinking to get clarity. We have to watch our own movement and then find a meaning for it. These are all some of the clues. Because when we were reading and rereading Papa's words, it was very difficult to understand even intellectually One part of it says that everything is actuated by him. Second part says he remains unattached, unaffected. So how do we understand? Slowly now Papa is leading to this sloka, where it has been elaborately mentioned. Let us see some more. No? So we evolve into a better and still better human beings. Real civilization itself is the product of a little dominance of this higher nature over the lower nature. The lower nature makes a temptation to fall in. Immediately the higher nature controls it. Hey, what are you doing? This we can see for ourselves. Somebody utters a word they should not utter, we immediately retort. Unknowingly it comes. The lower nature reacts. Somewhere we have seen, even when they say, suppose when we happen to go to a hospital or a center where people of unsound mind, if they are lodged there, and when we go to see them, each one may not be receptive to us, but do we complain? We are accepting their svabhava, Think. When a child does something, we don't complain, That is the child's svabhava. Start thinking now. The raw nature and the refined nature. Raw nature is called svabhava. Refined nature is called spiritual dimension behind. Presence. When the presence is felt, then it becomes refined. Presence of what? Presence of him. Because he immediately realizes, suppose this has got capacity, intelligence, and it says, no, I am reaching out to many people now. In many places, there is no connection between this place and that place. Suppose it starts arrogating. Somebody else will come. Stop. If the current is not there, will you function? Suddenly I become aware. Yeah, correct. The current is not there, if the internet is not there, I cannot function. But at the time of function, suppose this is what is happening in us now. So this is what at the end Divine Mother is trying to bring it through the inner dialogue in Papa. This is very vital. Again, we will go a little more further. Having said this, the lesson we have to learn is that svabhava which is external nature, which has found lodgment in our system, we shall control it, we shall go beyond it by expressing our true nature as pure intelligence. Because we are a combination of both Chit and Jada. Both are there in a human being. Very important, this word. Electricity and a gadget. This is a gadget. With the presence of electricity, the Atman, the Lord of the universe, in the absence of it, it does not function. But when it is in the presence of it, it functions. It functions independently. It functions uniquely. So without its presence, it cannot function. But though the presence is there, it is not affected. When electricity is given to the induction heater, electricity does not get heated. Again we will go a little more further. Both are there in the human being. In external nature it is all jada. But when you come to living being, you are in the realm of consciousness as well. And that too with respect to a human being. A higher form of consciousness called self-consciousness. The consciousness of the self as I gets manifested. No animal can experience I. Only the human being has this awareness of being a subject and not an object. Only the human being has this awareness of being a subject and not an object. That is why we are asked to treat every human being as subject and never as an object. Yajnavalkya and Janaka, that we read out, in the session now. You remember the dialogue?
No, Swamiji.
No, Swami. Okay. Now again we will read. Vyasa told Shuka, Shuka, my son, you have certainly attained self-knowledge, but it lacks the seed of confirmation from a guru, religious preceptor. So I would like you to go to Janaka the king for this purpose. Shuka thereupon proceeded to meet King Janaka. On the way to the palace, he passed through the capital city, observing the urban scene which was unknown to the young hermit. He has not moved out of his hermit. He has not exposed himself to anything outside. When he reached the palace and met the king, the following conversation took place. Janaka: why have you come here, young man? Shuka: to gain knowledge, sir. Who has sent you? Vyasa, my father, has asked me to meet you. Where from have you come? From our hermit ashram. While coming here from the ashram, what did you observe in the market? I observed sweet meat made of sugar piled up everywhere. What else did you see? I saw sugar statues walking on the streets and talking with each other. What did you see next? I then saw the palace steps made of sugar. Janaka: and what thereafter? Everywhere I found pictures made of sugar. What are you seeing now? A sugar statue is talking to another sugar statue. Well, you may go now. You have indeed attained self-knowledge. Why did he read this? Human being has this awareness of being a subject, not an object. He did not see any object anywhere. He only saw the subject sugar everywhere, no? He only saw the sugar, including Janaka, including himself. This is one of the methods, that is portrayed before us. That is why we are asked to treat every human being as a subject and never as an object. But when moral sense comes, we think, no, everybody must be treated as a subject. I am a subject, you are also a subject. I should treat you as a subject, not as an object. That is called moral sense. To see the subject in a social object is called moral sense. That's where morality comes. Think how beautifully he has analyzed. These are the words of Swami Ranganathanji, as you mentioned. I forgot to tell you in the first. So how does the raw nature get refined? Human being is a social object, unlike material objects like tables and chairs. This human being therefore has a uniqueness. He or she has a subjective dimension too. So we treat him or her as a subject, never always as an object. In the treatment of ethics by the German philosopher Kant, you will find this idea. That is ethical science. By manifesting our higher nature, Let us try to control and dominate that Svabhava, our lower nature. The Jada Svabhava is to be controlled by the Chit Svabhava. It's a practical clue for all of us. Practical clue for all of us. Whether at home, or in the office, or with our friends, or when we are alone. Everything comes from Him, but nothing affects Him. In the pot we can put payasam, we can put bitter gourd juice. The bitterness or the sweetness is not there in the pot. When it is washed, it doesn't stay there. So our varied nature. Pot. Here pot or sugar, whatever you call it. Little more, we will try to go in. So we treat him or her as a subject, never always as an object. That is called the human being's spiritual evolution. Out of that will come tremendous peace and harmony in the world. The human being will be the savior of the whole world. Otherwise, if he or he is subject to the Jada Svabhava within, the human being will, as well, be the author of destroying the whole nature and the whole of humanity. That is the situation in the world today. Most people are subject to the Jada Svabhava. They want to live according to that Svabhava, which I had referred to in the first volume. I don't want to check them. I don't want to discipline them. No? Jada Svabhava must be allowed to work freely. That's what I crave. No? This is a dangerous philosophy that is going on now, practically all over the world. We have to reverse. Let the higher Svabhava begin to function in you. There is something very precious in you. You are free, you are free. Jada nature is not free, but you are free. You are a mixture of freedom and non-freedom. Assert the freedom part in you. By such judicious discipline, guided by reasons and love of truth, man manifests the higher and higher aspects of nature. First the human, then the divine, from within oneself. First we start expressing it in the form of human values, moral ethical values. When this higher Paraprakriti slowly influences, even at that time, Atman remaining unaffected. I don't know how far it is clear. Atman is there, remaining unaffected. The gadgetic, the sense of individuality, which is made up of body, mind, intellect, when it functions, in the presence of this Atman, it functions, varied expressions come out at the thought level, at the body level, at the intellectual level. It is all dominated by the two Svabhavas, the higher and the lower. It will take a lot of time for the lower to understand that there is a higher Svabhava in me. So when I meet noble people, good people, law-abiding people, Uttama Bhaktas, Mahatmas, selfless souls, slowly we start up. What is it that makes me to appreciate them as an individual? The other day we told, somebody started thinking about the welfare of the downtrodden. They cannot afford to go into school or college. But somebody started thinking about, I should do something for them. So these are all called the values, Feeling for the co-creation. Not the entire creation we cannot. Some segment. So slowly the higher nature becomes more and more dominant. I find happiness. Then I link it with God. Oh, it is not there, I cannot do it. You can now slowly develop, what is submission to God's will. What is self-surrender? Otherwise it is only a word, a sentence or a word, self-surrender. Submission to God's will. That means the higher nature helps us to know that there is the witnessing capacity, the enlivening factor of Atman is there. Without its presence, the lower nature will not accept. Lower nature keeps on asserting that I am final. Higher nature enables us to feel the presence of the enlivening factor of the Atman. So the dialogue was between that and the mind, Papa, Divine Mother and the child. It started with self-surrender, we were not very clear. It ended with self-surrender, not very clear. So at the end now, Papa once says, hey, it's not clear, agree. So we will do some more again, journey. So that is why that in his presence, everything becomes active, but at the same time, he is not affected. It goes on by itself. It is set. The gadget is set, programmed. But it needs the presence of electricity. Electricity is not affected by anything. Atman is not affected by anything. The lower nature does not accept. It's a raw nature. The higher nature in me slowly tries by controlling, by checking, by discipline. And it makes the lower nature aware that both of them exist because of the person. That is called electricity. That is surrender. The moment he comes to know that but for this electricity I cannot. This is very vital. That's why I said it is very vital. You build up your path.
Swamiji, which means we have to be constantly putting this into our mind that I'm not doing this, I'm being made to do this. Every little action, whether I'm making tea, coffee, I am made to do this.
No, the problem is when you say this, what happens in you? Only you will know, no? Which part says this? Because it is in the process of doing, expressing. When you say, I am not doing anything, you are telling, there is an activity there. There is a doing going on. Think, Think. When I say I am not doing anything, there is a work there, there is an activity there. Is it not?
There is a confusion.
So the activity and non-activity is felt by, is blessed by, is graced by that person. So in a nutshell, we cannot express. It is past expression. Unless we go inward, it will not be clear. We are trying to understand When we say, Papa says, whatever happens is happening only by God's will. Whatever is happening is for our ultimate good. We used to parrot like repeat, and we want to keep on hammering into our brain. But it doesn't go because it is not understood, it is not digested, it is not assimilated in the way in which it should be. We are forcing some stuff into our thing. It remains as a stuff there. But it is not getting assimilated. So can we say that I am not the doer? No. But I have the feeling. That my doing or non-doing, my talking or not talking, my framing the sentences or not framing the sentences, all these things are enlivened by, witnessed by, activated by that power. And the moment I become thoroughly convinced that it is that power, my self-surrender becomes complete. Or when I say that submission to the will, I mean it. Because the higher nature in me says, I submit to his will. I am telling my lower nature, don't cross the Lakshman Rekha. He is crossing the Lakshman Rekha because he is not aware of this higher nature. Because the higher nature alone will direct us to the enlivening forces. We were all working, we were having our own world as an individual. Suddenly we got in touch with spiritual masters or spiritual preceptors or discourses or satsang or shlokas or granthas or something. Though we do not have any idea, still something is there other than what I have understood about this life. That is how we start this. And slowly we try to gather. One thing was becoming clearer, that there is a life higher other than the life that we have defined before, though we are not clear what the other life is. And we have been moving. Luckily we have been blessed by that power to have at least, whether it is surface level or a little deeper level, we developed some faith, some belief, and we started moving towards the subject, but still our lower nature is still dominant in us. That is why we don't feel the progress. Others may see some progress in us, but we may not see the real progress in us because the lower nature is still dominant. Because of the higher nature's intervention, we have developed some values in our life. That is why the outer society recognizes or loves us, or hears us, recognizes us. It is because the higher nature has started influencing and it comes out in the form of values. We should not stop. The higher nature, again, when you do that, when the rawness is being refined, one day, like this, it is touched. There is a higher power. There is a higher power. Bereft of that power, I don't exist. Who says? Higher nature, intelligence. So it slowly controls the lower nature. The lower nature is being slowly tuned to the higher nature, and the higher nature becomes aware of the presence of the Almighty. The lower nature, so long as it is dominant, it will not recognize the existence of the higher of the presence of Atma. Now I think our struggle is clear. Struggle has started. So the Almighty Lord of the universe, and in a human individual, that is why human birth is supposed to be the Shrestha. Surlabam trayamevaitat devanugraha hetukam manishyatvam mumukshatvam mahavurusha samshaya. Beautiful. Three things are rare and human birth, desire to liberate ourselves, and the company of great souls. This is not possible for an animal birth. But when we keep on progressing, every other creature also gets benefited because it radiates. That is why Chidanji Maharaj addresses everybody. Radiant immortal Atma. Radiant. Blessed children of God. Think, all those things it will become clearer and clearer. Amritasya Putra. Shunvandu Vishwe Amritasya Putra. We are the heirs of immortal bliss. We are not to be taken as this tiny little mortal figure born on a particular date and is going to die on a particular date. Some idea. Little go further, we will go. 5 more minutes. So 2 types of people experience happiness and are free from tension, namely the uttermost fool among them and the one who has gone beyond the buddhi. All others in between are in varying stages of tension and struggle. That is how Vedanta tells people that don't take things as they are. You can make them better and still better. There is a progress from this to that. You can be the architect of your own destiny. No animal can be the architect of its own destiny. Nature is the architect there. In our case, Svabhava is not our architect. Nature is not our architect. We are the architect. We can reshape our life. This must be constantly kept in view. Because we forgot it after the independence of India. Jada nature is acting on its way in India. Raw humanity, just selfish, quarreling, fighting, killing, everything just as we do in a wild state. We know now, how much animalistic tendencies are there in us. That is why when we were all in the initial stages, we were told about this, animal man, man, God man. In every one of us, these animalistic tendencies are there. It has to be refined. Then I become a man, the higher nature, apara prakriti. And from there to, I exist because of him. At the same time, he is not involved in anything. This confusion should not come to us. Lot of churning inside me should go. My thinking about him, is possible because he is there. But he has nothing to do with this thinking. In his presence, the thinking goes. That is why the thinking can be on a higher one or a lower one. He is not affected. But in his presence only this happens. So the higher nature in us makes us aware of this and then slowly trains the lower nature to become aware. To become aware means to submit. Raw humanity, just selfish, quarreling, fighting, killing, everything just as we do in a wild state. Human dignity does not find expression. I can easily kill anyone, or if I am a cannibal, I can eat them. But in civilization, at least we don't eat human beings. Swami Vivekananda said, the old cannibals ate human beings. Today we do not do so. But we cheat others. The same cannibalism in a new way. This has to go. When you free yourself from the Jada Svabhava, that Svabhava which has got into your psycho-physical system, beyond which is the Atman begins to find expressions in you. Atman begins to find expressions in you. Atman begins to find expressions in within. Start thinking that way. Very important word. That is why we say, when we talk about, say, Papa, for example, normally we localize Papa to the particular form. Form is not a charming, magnetic, electrifying. But we have to go beyond that. So that is why it is stated like this. Beloved Papa's presence is not only confined to the Bhajan Hall or Homa Mandir, he is not only all-pervasive in this holy Ananda Ashram, but it lives and moves in and through us. We carry his presence when we adhere to truthfulness. It finds expression, no? That's the word we use. Just now we read. The Atman begins to find expressions in you. The Atman begins to find expressions in you. We carry his presence when we adhere to truthfulness. We carry his presence when we are kind, considerate, compassionate. Previously also I was considerate and compassionate, but even that credit was taken by the individual. Now because of the higher nature, we know that he gave us a wonderful opportunity to do something for him. He could have used somebody else, but he selected me to do it. See the difference? Previously also he was outsiders knew he was leading a noble life, selfless life, broad life, everything we say. But they don't enjoy this, because still the lower nature takes credit unknowingly somewhere. So they may be in a different state, not that they have to be condemned. Later on they will also know that it is because of the presence of that power that I have been able to do, and I was given a wonderful opportunity to do my might. He chose me, Papa uses the word the chosen ones. He should become the chosen ones, That is why, how do I become a dearest devotee of the Lord? All those things come only then.
And they are chosen, others we don't come here. They are all chosen. We are all chosen.
We should feel we are chosen. And if we are chosen, we should know that we should live up to it. We cannot simply say that I am chosen. I must have some basic qualities. Don't stop with these statements. That is the mistake. We get stunted. Our journey, we should always feel the discontentment. We should not stop our inward journey. We will again read. We carry his presence when we are kind, considerate and compassionate. Whose? Papa. We carry his presence when we refuse to swerve 1 inch from the path of purity. We carry his presence vibrantly, dynamically, forcefully when we live our life in a divine manner, with determination, humble intention, firm resolve, and all sincerity and earnestness. When we are trying to pursue a divine way of living in thought, word and deed, we are manifesting beloved Papa. The Papa whom Mataji refers to as Papa. The Papa whom we say, beginningless and endless Param Puja Papa. We are a vibrant center of that which the world knows as Virat Papa Swami Ramdas. That means before I utter a word, Papa's, that universalism, that should immediately come before me before I utter a word. If anything stems from the individual, finished. we are not living up to. There was a complete merger of that sense of individuality with the cosmic reality in his case. So we are a vibrant center of that which the world knows as Devapapa Swamiran. We become a lamp through which his light shines. We become the vessel to hold the living waters of his spirituality. Wow. Living waters of his spirituality. His sublime spiritual teaching. Every moment it should thrill and throb in me. No? In a nutshell, universal. Let us not therefore confine Beloved Papa Swami Ramdas to the Bhajan Hall, to the Homa Mandir of Ananda Ashram. Make ourselves a vehicle of his living presence so that our life, so that by our life, others also become awake and illumined. They feel his divine presence through our life, and their life is also divinized. We move amongst the world of men as the candle imparting our light to anyone whom God brings us in contact with. So this expression, so I can definitely plead before Papa. I wanted to live up to, but my old habits, please. Why don't you at that particular moment point out to me? You are simply sitting as a witness. Not right. Pull me up. When I go off the track, when I cross the Lakshman Rekha, please pull me up. Then only I will know you. Otherwise I carry on with it. Just like so far I have lived only like that only. I am the final answer. I have never accepted that you are the final answer. Even under the banner of spirituality I may be doing so many things. But still I have not recognized that you are the final answer. All these teachings are not just dogmas. This is meant to be thought about, meant to be applied, meant to be checked up, meant to be verified. All these teachings are not just dogmas. This is meant to be thought about, meant to be applied, meant to be checked up, meant to be verified. The science of yoga in the Gita is a verifiable science. That is what we are asked to do. Let us see how this will function in our case. So like that the commentary goes on, but it is certainly a link with the At the Feet of God. It gives us some more light on self-surrender. Please do some thinking. As we told in the first instance, At the Feet of God is a book for PhD according to us. It is not for light reading. It is purely a state where the higher nature, the Paraprakriti and the witness consciousness, Atman, alone are there. Nobody else is there. And this Paraprakriti is asking after some questions, because every now and then Paraprakriti slips into the Aparaprakriti, lower nature. So there is again tension, there is doubt, there is uncertainty. So again it comes and stays in the form of, but Paraprakriti dominance is there. So now we understand Paraprakriti is the outcome of all these disciplines. And because of the discipline, Paraprakriti connects us with the spirit. Why we have not been doing it? Unknowingly the Paraprakriti dominates. Sorry, Aparaprakriti dominates. It is so let us all do some serious thinking, and when we come on after tomorrow, probably we will see what next. What is the next stage Papa is taking? Hayo. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. Om Shri Ram. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Hari Om.